The small transport ship docked at the Galactic Combat Academy with a soft hiss. Lieutenant Han Tai-Su grabbed his single bag and stood up. He was the only human on board. Through the window, he could see the huge training complex spread out below. The academy sat on the neutral planet Auridon, far from Earth. Tall crystal towers reached up to the purple sky. Training fields and combat arenas dotted the landscape. Tai-Su took a deep breath. His dark eyes showed no fear, but his heart beat faster. He was the first human ever accepted to the academy. Earth had only joined the Galactic Alliance 2 years ago. Most aliens still saw humans as weak and strange. "All passengers for the academy, please exit now," the ship's computer said. Tai-Su walked out into the arrival hall. The air smelled clean but odd, with a hint of something like mint. Around him, beings from across the galaxy moved with purpose. Some had scales, others had fur, some floated, while others crawled on many legs. None looked human. A tall, blue-skinned alien with 8 limbs approached. 4 arms crossed its chest while 2 legs and 2 mid-limbs kept it balanced. Its face had compound eyes that reminded Tai-Su of an earth insect. "You must be the human," the alien said. Its voice came from a small translator box at its neck. "I am Commander Krill, Senior Combat Instructor." Tai-Su stood straight and gave a perfect military salute. "Lieutenant Han Tai-Su of Earth Defense Force, sir. Thank you for accepting my application." Commander Krill's mandibles clicked together. The alien didn't return the salute. "Let us be clear, human. Your government pushed hard for your place here. Many on our board did not agree." Tai-Su kept his face blank. He was used to this. Earth was new to the galactic community and humans had to prove themselves everywhere. "I understand, sir. I'm here to learn, not to cause trouble." "Your planet is classified as a Class 12 death world," Krill continued. "Extreme temperature ranges, dangerous wildlife, natural disasters, and high gravity. Most species find such conditions quite hostile. It's home to us, sir." "Indeed. Yet despite your harsh world, your species lacks natural defenses. No claws, no armor, basic senses, and modest strength." Krill's compound eyes studied Tai-Su. "I wonder what you hope to gain here." "Knowledge, sir, and the chance to share what humans know about combat." Krill made a sound that might have been a laugh. "We have instructors who have fought in wars across 100 worlds. Some have lived for centuries. What could a short-lived human teach them?" Tai-Su remained silent. He knew that nothing he said would change the alien's mind. Only actions would matter. "Follow me," Krill said. "I will show you to your quarters." They walked through wide halls, made of a smooth white stone. Other aliens stopped to stare at Tai-Su. Some whispered to each other. Tai-Su caught fragments from his translator. "Is that a human? So soft-looking. Why is it here? Won't last a week." Tai-Su focused on walking with perfect posture. What these aliens didn't know was that he wasn't just any human. Back on Earth, he had been part of an elite special forces unit. He had fought in the resource wars, survived the Australian death zone, and once held off 12 enhanced soldiers with nothing but a combat knife in his training. But those were human enemies. Here he would face species with natural advantages humans could only dream of. Krill stopped at a door. "These are your quarters. You will share with another human, a diplomatic attaché named Kyoji-wan. He has been here for 1 standard year." The door slid open. Inside, a slim man with short black hair looked up from a data pad. He seemed surprised, then smiled. "Another human?" Finally, Kyoji-wan stood and bowed slightly. "Welcome to the academy. I was beginning to think I'd be the only human here forever." Tai-Su returned the bow. "Lieutenant Han Tai-Su, good to meet you." Krill's mandibles clicked again. "Your schedule has been sent to your personal device. First meal is in 1 hour. Training begins tomorrow at first light." The commander turned to leave, then paused. "One more thing, human. The training here is not adjusted for different species. We expect all cadets to perform to the same standards regardless of biological limitations." After Krill left, Ji-Wan let out a long breath. Well, that was almost friendly by his standards. Tai-Su put his bag down on the empty bed. The room was simple but comfortable. Have you been treated like this the whole time? Ji-won shrugged. More or less. I'm just a diplomatic attaché, here to learn about the academy and improve relations. You're the first actual combat trainee from Earth. That makes you a much bigger target. Target? Some instructors will try to prove humans don't belong here, especially in combat training. Ji-won sat down on his bed. The academy has never had a Deathworlder student who wasn't naturally strong or armored or had special abilities. Tai-Su began unpacking his few belongings. I'm not worried. You should be, Ji-won said quietly. Tomorrow you'll meet combat instructor Mila. She's not a fan of humans. I've dealt with tough instructors before. Not like her. She's a Sertilian. They have reaction times 3 times faster than humans. She can literally see your muscles tense before you move. Ji-won leaned forward. And she loves to use human examples when teaching about combat weaknesses. Tai-Su nodded slowly, taking in the information. Thanks for the warning. Ji-won stood up. Come on, I'll show you to the meal hall and point out who to avoid. As they walked through the academy, Ji-won pointed out different species and explained their natural advantages. The hulking Drav with their stone-like skin. The quick Nirvani who could move faster than the human eye could track. The floating Ultan who could generate electrical charges. In the meal hall, hundreds of aliens ate strange foods. Conversation stopped briefly as Tai-Su entered. Then the buzz of talking resumed, now with many eyes watching him. They got their food, a bland protein mix safe for human consumption, and sat at an empty table. Why did you come here? Ji-won asked. Earth Force must have told you how hard it would be. Tai-Su took a bite of food before answering. Because someone had to be first. Humans need to show we belong in the galaxy. But why you? Tai-Su's dark eyes revealed nothing. I volunteered. What he didn't say was the truth, that Earth's government had selected him specifically, that his combat record was classified, that he had been training for this mission for years, studying alien biology and combat techniques. As they ate, a tall reptilian alien with iridescent scales walked by their table, her yellow eyes locked onto Tai-Su. The new human, she said, her voice soft but cold. I am combat instructor Mila. I look forward to tomorrow's session. After she left, Ji-won shook his head. That's her. She'll be watching you closely. Tai-Su didn't respond. He kept eating calmly, but his mind was already working. He had survived worse odds on Earth. He would survive here, too. That night, after Ji-won fell asleep, Tai-Su sat in the darkness of their room. He opened his personal device and studied the files on Sertilian biology again. Then he reviewed the Academy's combat training protocols. Finally, he did what he always did before a challenge. He closed his eyes and breathed slowly, centering himself. Tomorrow would be just the first test of many, but Lieutenant Han Tai-Su had never failed a test yet, and he didn't plan to start now. 3 weeks had passed since the Galactic Council had named humans an inferior species. Captain Do-hyun Kim and his crew had worked day and night, gathering all the information they could before they had to leave. They had only 7 days left, before the Dauntless would be forced to depart from Centauri Prime. Do-hyun sat in his small office on the ship, reviewing the data they had collected. His eyes were red from lack of sleep. Captain, you need to see this, said Lieutenant Ji-woo Park as she rushed into the room. She placed a tablet in front of him. Something big is happening. Do-hyun looked at the screen. It showed a massive solar flare erupting from one of Centauri Prime's 3 suns. The flare was huge, much bigger than normal. When did this happen? He asked. Just now, Ji-woo replied. And it's not just any flare. It's knocking out communications across half the Council territory. Their ships can't talk to each other. Their defense systems are offline. Do-hyun frowned. That's strange. The Council has the best prediction technology in the galaxy. They should have seen this coming days ago. That's just it. Jiwoo said, her eyes bright with excitement. They didn't predict it. Their scientists are completely surprised. The ship's communication system beeped. "Captain, incoming message from Earth," reported Communications Officer Minho. "Put it through," Do-hyun ordered. The screen on the wall lit up, showing the face of Dr. Ha Song. She was one of Earth's top scientists, known for her work on quantum communications. "Captain Kim," she said. Her voice was clear despite the solar interference that was affecting Council systems. "I assume you've seen the solar activity?" "We just noticed it," Do-hyun replied. "How are you able to communicate with us?" "Council systems are down." Hanuel smiled proudly. "My quantum communication array works perfectly, even during solar storms. The Council rejected it last year, calling it primitive. But right now, it's the only system still working across interstellar distances." Do-hyun leaned forward. "Dr. Song, are you saying Earth can still communicate when the Council can't?" "Exactly. And Earth Command wants you to know that a Council ship is heading your way right now. They need our help." Just as Hanuel finished speaking, Minho called out, "Captain, a Council diplomatic vessel is requesting permission to dock." Do-hyun felt a surge of satisfaction. "It seems we're not so inferior after all. Dr. Song, thank you for the information. We'll handle it from here." The screen went dark. Do-hyun stood up and straightened his uniform. "Lieutenant Jiwoo, please join me in the docking bay. Let's see what the Council wants." The Council ship was small but elegant, with the smooth, curved lines that marked advanced alien engineering. When the airlock opened, a tall figure stepped out. It was Vrax Tull, one of the Council elders who had voted to classify humans as inferior. Do-hyun kept his face neutral, though inside he felt a mix of anger and pride. "Elder Vrax Tull, welcome aboard the Dauntless. This is an unexpected honor." The alien's skin had a slight blue tint, and its eyes were large and entirely black. "Captain Kim," it said, its translator making the words sound flat. "I come on urgent business." "Of course," Do-hyun replied politely. "How can we help?" Vrax Tull seemed uncomfortable with asking for help but continued. "As you may be aware, we are experiencing communication difficulties due to unexpected solar activity. Your planet seems to maintain functioning communication systems despite this interference." "Yes, we noticed that," Do-hyun said calmly. "Earth's quantum communication technology is quite reliable, even during solar storms." "The quantum system that was presented to the Council last year?" Vrax Tull asked, surprise showing in its large eyes. "The same one," Jiwoo replied. "The one your scientists dismissed as too primitive." Vrax Tull shifted uncomfortably. "It appears we may have underestimated its effectiveness. The Council requests temporary access to your communication network. It is a matter of some urgency." Do-hyun pretended to consider the request. "I'll need to consult with Earth Command. Please follow me to our meeting room." As they walked through the corridors of the Dauntless, Do-hyun noticed Vrax Tull looking around with interest. "Your ship is well maintained," the alien commented. "Surprisingly advanced for a Class 4 species." Do-hyun smiled slightly. "We do our best with our limited capabilities." In the meeting room, General Sumin Kang from Earth Command was already waiting on the communication screen. Her face was stern. "Elder Vrax Tull," she said with a slight nod. "I understand you're experiencing technical difficulties." "Yes," the alien replied. "We request temporary access to your quantum communication network to coordinate our response to this crisis." General Kang's expression didn't change. "I see. And what does the Council offer in return for this assistance?" Vrax Tull seemed taken aback. "Offer? We are merely requesting temporary aid during an emergency." "An emergency that your superior technology failed to predict," Kang pointed out. "While our primitive systems continue to function perfectly, the alien was silent for a moment. "What do you want in exchange?" "Reconsideration of our species classification," Kang stated firmly. Vrax Tull's posture stiffened. "One functioning communication system does not negate your species' fundamental limitations." Do-hyun stepped forward. "With respect, Elder Vrax Tull, Dr. Han Yul-song's quantum communication array is not our only achievement that your scientists overlooked. He gestured to Jiwoo, who activated a holographic display in the center of the room. It showed various technological innovations that humans had developed independently. This is our gravitational shielding technology, Do-hyun explained. It exceeds council standards by 23%. And these are our medical nanites that can adapt to any species' physiology. Here is our energy conversion system that operates at 98% efficiency. With each example, Vraxtol's expression grew more concerned. Why have these not been shared with the council? They were, Jiwoo said. Each one was submitted for review and dismissed as either impossible or impractical, given our limited understanding of the principles involved. General Kang spoke up again. The truth, Elder Vraxtol, is that your council didn't believe humans capable of these advances. So when we presented them, you assumed our claims were exaggerated or flawed. Vraxtol was quiet for a long time. Finally, it said, I cannot change the council's classification alone, but I will bring this evidence to the full council for review. The alien paused, then added reluctantly, in the meantime, the emergency still exists. Will you help us? Do-hyun looked at General Kang, who nodded slightly. Of course we will help, Do-hyun said. Humans don't abandon others in need regardless of how we've been treated. Lieutenant Jiwoo will help set up a link between our systems and yours immediately. As Jiwoo led the alien away to begin the technical work, General Kang addressed Do-hyun privately. Well played, Captain. This solar flare couldn't have come at a better time. Do-hyun nodded. It's showing the council that their perfect systems have flaws, and our primitive approaches have value. Exactly, Kang replied. But this is just the beginning. We've received reports from our science stations across the system. There's unusual activity at the Galactic Rim. Something is coming. Something the Council's predictive systems haven't detected yet. Do-hyun frowned. What kind of activity? Energy patterns unlike anything we've seen before. Dr. Song is analyzing the data now, but her preliminary report is concerning. Whatever it is, it's heading toward Council space. Should we warn them? Do-hyun asked. Kang's expression was grim. Yes, but not yet. Let them see the value of our help with the communications crisis first. Then, when we warn them about this new threat, they'll be more likely to take us seriously. Do-hyun finished. Exactly. Sometimes being underestimated can be an advantage. Captain, the Council is about to learn that lesson the hard way. As Do-hyun ended the call, he couldn't help but feel that the next few days would change everything. The Council had called humans inferior. Now they would see just how wrong they were. 5 days after the solar flare, Captain Do-hyun Kim was awakened by a loud alarm. He jumped out of bed and rushed to the bridge of the Dauntless. The ship's night crew looked tense. What's happening? Do-hyun asked. Lieutenant Jiwoo turned to him, her face pale. Captain, we're receiving emergency signals from across Council space. Something is attacking the outer systems. Do-hyun moved to the main screen. It showed dozens of distress calls coming in from planets near the Galactic Rim. Show me the visual feeds. The screen changed to show scenes of chaos. Strange dark shapes moved against the stars. They seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Wherever they passed, power systems failed. Council ships fired weapons that did nothing against the dark entities. What are they? Do-hyun whispered. The Council is calling them the Voidborn, Jiwoo explained. They appear to be ancient entities from the Galactic Rim. They consume energy in all forms. Communications Officer Min-ho spoke up. Captain, we're receiving a direct transmission from Council High Commander Luxavir. It's being sent on all frequencies, even those reserved for inferior species. Do-hyun nodded. Put it through. The screen showed an alien with gray skin and 4 eyes. Luxavir looked stressed, which was unusual for the normally composed Council commander. This is High Commander Luxavir of the Galactic Council Defense Force, the alien said. We are facing an unprecedented attack by entities known as the Voidborn. They are resistant to our weapons and are advancing toward the core systems. All available ships, regardless of species classification, are requested to assist in evacuation efforts. This is not a request. This is a desperate plea. The message ended, and the bridge was silent. The mighty council is asking for help from inferior species, Jiwoo said quietly. Do-hyun checked the star map. The Dauntless is the closest ship to Nexus Station. That's where the council's central command is located. Captain, Minho said. Technically, we're still banned from council space. If we go to help, we'd be breaking their laws. Do-hyun looked at his crew. They were all watching him, waiting for his decision. He took a deep breath. We're going in, he announced firmly. Alert all crew. Prepare for immediate departure. As the crew rushed to their stations, engineer Jun Ho-yoon approached Do-hyun. Unlike the others, he looked worried. Captain, there's a problem, Junho said. The Voidborn consume energy. Our weapons won't work conventionally, Do-hyun finished. I know. Then what's our plan? Junho asked. Do-hyun smiled slightly. We're going to try something very human instead. 6 hours later, the Dauntless approached Nexus Station. The massive space station was surrounded by Voidborn entities. They looked like moving shadows floating in space. Council ships fired energy weapons at them, but the Voidborn simply absorbed the energy and grew larger. On the bridge of the Dauntless, Do-hyun watched the battle with concern. They keep using the same attack pattern, he observed. The Voidborn are adapting to it. Each time the Council fires those weapons, they become less effective. Our phase-shifting technology is ready, Captain, Junho reported from the engineering station. But it's never been tested in combat. No time like the present, Do-hyun replied. Engage the phase shifters. Junho pressed a series of controls. The ship hummed as the experimental technology activated. The engines of the Dauntless now emitted energy signatures that mimicked the Voidborn's own output. We're essentially invisible to them now, Jiwoo said, checking her readings. They can't distinguish our energy from their own. Good, Do-hyun said. Now take us in nice and slow. Let's get to that station. The Dauntless moved carefully through the Voidborn entities. The dark shapes paid no attention to the human ship, focusing instead on the council vessels that continued their futile attacks. This is crazy, Minho whispered. We're flying right through them. Sometimes being unpredictable is an advantage, Do-hyun replied. When they reached Nexus Station, they found its docking bays in chaos. Damaged ships crowded the area, and injured aliens rushed in all directions. Find us a place to dock, Do-hyun ordered. Then prepare a team to board the station. We need to reach the Council Command Center. Inside Nexus Station, Do-hyun led a team of 6 human officers through damaged corridors. Emergency lights flickered, and occasionally the whole station would shake as a Voidborn entity struck its outer hull. They reached the Council Supreme Chambers and found it in chaos. Council representatives from various species argued loudly. Some were trying to organize a defense, others wanted to flee. In the center of the room stood Council Elder Vrax Tool and High Commander Luxveer, trying to maintain order. Do-hyun approached them. When Vrax Tool saw the humans, its large black eyes widened in surprise. Captain Kim? What are you doing here? Your species is banned from... We received your distress call. Do-hyun interrupted. We came to help. How did you get past the Voidborn? Luxveer asked. We modified our engines to emit energy signatures that mimic the Voidborn's own output, Jiwoo explained. They can't detect us. Luxveer looked impressed, but Vrax Toll seemed suspicious. And you're offering assistance? Why? After we classified your species as inferior? Because that's what humans do, Do-hyun said simply. We help others in need, regardless of how they've treated us. Before Vrax Toll could respond, a loud explosion shook the chamber. Part of the ceiling collapsed and everyone ducked for cover. The station's defenses are failing, Luxveer reported grimly. The Voidborn are breaking through. Do-hyun looked around at the panicked council representatives. Then he stepped forward and raised his voice. Everyone, listen to me, he shouted. The room gradually fell silent. Your approach isn't working. The Voidborn adapt to energy patterns. Every time you fire the same weapon twice, they're already 10% more resistant. Council Elder Vraxtool frowned. And what would primitives know of quantum energy manipulation? Jiwoo stepped forward, displaying a holographic simulation from her portable device. We know that unpredictability is the key. Humans excel at chaos. She showed how the Voidborn responded to repeated energy patterns by growing stronger against them. Then she showed a simulation of constantly changing energy bursts, which confused and weakened the entities. This is our plan, Do-hyun explained. Instead of trying to overpower the Voidborn with bigger weapons, we propose a constantly shifting attack pattern. We'll use modified communication arrays to disrupt their synchronization. Each burst will be entirely unique, a technique humans perfected in our early electronic warfare days. It's primitive, sneered Vraxtool. It's adaptable, corrected engineer Junho. Luxavir studied the simulation carefully. Unlike Vraxtool, the commander seemed willing to consider any option. Your plan is unconventional, Luxavir admitted. But our conventional methods are failing. How quickly can you implement this strategy? We've already prepared the modifications for our ship, Do-hyun replied. If you give us access to your command systems, we can adapt your fleet's weapons in a few hours. Another explosion rocked the station. Alarms blared as more systems failed. We don't have a few hours, Luxavir said. The Voidborn will breach the core of this station within 1 hour. Do-hyun looked at his team. Then we'll have to work faster. Junho nodded confidently. We can do it, Captain. It won't be pretty, but it will work. Luxavir turned to Vraxtool. Elder, I recommend we accept the humans' assistance. Vraxtool looked at the chaos around them, then back at the calm, determined faces of the human team. After a long moment, the alien nodded reluctantly. Very well, Vraxtool said. Show us this human solution. As Do-hyun's team rushed to implement their plan, he couldn't help but feel a small sense of satisfaction. The council had called humans inferior because they were unpredictable and emotional. Now those very traits might be the only thing that could save them all. Engineer Junho-yoon worked quickly. His fingers moved across the control panel as he connected the human systems to the council's network. Sweat dripped down his face, but he didn't stop to wipe it away. They had less than an hour before the Voidborn would break through Nexus Station's defenses. How much longer? Captain Do-hyun Kim asked, standing behind him. Almost done, Junho replied. Their systems are complex, but the basic principles are the same as ours. Around them, council technicians watched with a mix of curiosity and doubt. They had never seen humans work before. The speed surprised them. There, Junho said with a smile. The connection is complete. Now we need to program the energy pattern variations. Lieutenant Jiwoo stepped forward with a data tablet. I've designed 5,000 unique energy signatures. Each one is completely different from the others. Hi. Commander Luxavir looked at the tablet with interest. 5,000? Our scientists only use 10 standard attack patterns. That's the problem, Jiwoo explained. The Voidborn learn quickly. If you use the same attack twice, they adapt. But if every attack is different, they can't predict what's coming next. As she spoke, the station shook violently. Emergency lights flashed red. Warning. Hull breach on levels 12 through 15. An automated voice announced. Emergency force fields activated. We're running out of time, Luxavir said urgently. Are you ready to implement your plan? Do-hyun nodded. Yes, but we need to coordinate with the other ships. My ship, the Dauntless, will lead the attack. We need all council vessels to follow our energy pattern exactly. Elder Vraxtool, who had been watching silently, stepped forward. Your ship, leading our fleet? That is against all council protocols. With respect, Elder, Luxavir said firmly. Protocols aren't saving us right now. Another explosion rocked the station, stronger than before. Several council members fell to the floor. Warning. Hull breach on levels 8 through 10, the automated voice reported. Critical systems failing. Vraxtool looked at the chaos around them, then back at the humans. Very well, the elder said reluctantly. Commander Luxavir, give the humans temporary command authority. Luxavir quickly entered commands into the central console. All ships are now linked to your system, Captain Kim. They will follow your lead. Thank you, Do-hyun said. He turned to his team. Jiwoo, upload the energy patterns to all ships. Minho, establish communication with the Dauntless and the Council fleet. Junho, make sure the energy modulators are synchronized. His crew moved with quick efficiency. Council members watched in surprise as the humans worked without argument or hesitation. Captain, Jiwoo reported, 5 other human ships have arrived. They're requesting to join the defense. Do-hyun's eyes widened. Human ships? How did they get here? They say they ignored the travel ban when they heard about the Voidborn attack. They want to help. Do-hyun smiled. Add them to the coordination network. We need every ship we can get. Minutes later, the plan was ready. Do-hyun stood before the main screen, which showed the positions of all ships around Nexus Station. The Voidborn entities appeared as dark blots, moving slowly but steadily toward the center of the station. All ships, this is Captain Do-hyun. Kim, he announced. Each of you has been assigned a unique sequence of energy patterns. When I give the signal, begin your attack. Remember, never use the same pattern twice. Keep changing. Keep adapting. That's how we'll win. He looked at his crew, who nodded confidently. Begin attack now. Outside in space, the battle looked like a dance of lights. The human and council ships moved in careful formations, each firing, weapons that constantly changed color and intensity. The Voidborn, which had easily absorbed the standard council attacks, now seemed confused. Their smooth movements became erratic. On the Dauntless, Do-hyun watched the battle from the captain's chair. He had returned to his ship to lead the attack personally. It's working, Jiwoo said excitedly. The Voidborn can't adapt to our random patterns. Energy readings from the entities are decreasing by 15%, Junho reported from his station. They're getting weaker. Do-hyun nodded but didn't celebrate yet. Keep pressing the attack, don't give them time to recover. The combined fleet continued their assault. Human ships darted between the larger council vessels, their smaller size allowing them to get closer to the Voidborn. They fired rapidly changing energy bursts, each one unique. After an hour of intense fighting, the results were clear. The Voidborn were retreating, moving away from Nexus Station and back toward the Galactic Rim. They're running, Minho said, unable to hide his smile. Not running, Do-hyun corrected. Tactical withdrawal. They're not defeated yet, just confused. The communication screen activated, showing High Commander Luxavir. Captain Kim, the alien said, your strategy is working. The Voidborn are retreating from all core systems. I've ordered our ships to maintain your unpredictable attack pattern. Good, Do-hyun replied. Don't let them regroup. Keep pushing them back toward the rim. I must admit, Luxavir said, we would not have discovered this solution on our own. Our tactical doctrine has remained unchanged for thousands of years. We never considered that unpredictability itself could be a weapon. Sometimes the oldest problems need the newest thinking, Do-hyun said. Luxavir seemed to consider this. Perhaps there is wisdom in that approach. The Council will need to reconsider many things after this crisis is resolved. The screen went dark as Luxavir ended the transmission. Do-hyun turned to his crew, who were all smiling now. We did it, Jiwoo said. We saved them. Not yet, Do-hyun cautioned. The Voidborn are still out there, but we've bought some time. What happens now? Minho asked. Do we still have to leave Council space? Before Do-hyun could answer, Junho called out from his station. Captain, I'm detecting 5 more human ships entering. The system! More ships ignoring the travel ban? Do-hyun asked. No, sir. These are from Earth Command. They're led by General Su Min-kang's flagship. The communication screen activated again, this time showing General Kang's face. She looked serious but satisfied. Captain Kim, she said. Well done. Earth has been monitoring your battle. Very impressive. Thank you, General, Do-hyun replied. But the fight isn't over. I know. That's why I've brought reinforcements and something else." Her expression became more serious. Dr. Ha-Nul Song has completed her analysis of the Voidborn. She believes she can create a permanent solution, but she needs more data that only exists in the Council's scientific archives. Do-hyun understood what she wasn't saying. "You want us to get access to those archives?" "Yes, the Council needs our help now. It's time to use that advantage." Do-hyun nodded. "I'll speak with Elder Vraxtool and Commander Luxveer immediately." "Good." Kang smiled slightly. "And Captain? Make sure they understand that this help comes with conditions. No more inferior species classification. Equal standing in the Council for Humanity." "I think they're already starting to understand that, General," Do-hyun said. "Nothing makes a point quite like saving someone who thought they were better than you." As the Dauntless rejoined the fleet, Do-hyun looked out at the stars. The Council had called humans unpredictable, emotional, and adaptable. They had meant these as weaknesses. But today, those same traits had saved countless lives across the galaxy. The Council was about to learn an important lesson. Never underestimate humans, and never ever call them inferior. 3 months had passed since the Voidborn attack. The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council on Centauri Prime was filled with representatives from hundreds of worlds. The room buzzed with excited conversation. Today was a historic day. Captain Do-hyun, Kim stood at attention with his crew beside him. They wore their formal Earth uniforms, cleaned and pressed for the occasion. Next to them stood Ambassador Taiwan Choi, General Su-min Kang, and Dr. Ha-Nul Song. The entire human delegation tried to remain calm, but it was difficult to hide their pride. "Nervous?" Jiwoo whispered to Do-hyun. "A little," he admitted. "I never thought we'd be standing here like this." "You mean as heroes instead of inferiors?" she asked with a small smile. Before he could answer, a loud tone echoed through the hall. Everyone fell silent as the council elders entered. Led by Vraxtool, the 12 elders took their seats in a semicircle at the front of the room. High Commander Luxveer stood to one side. Council High Speaker Zalnar, the eldest of the elders, rose to address the gathering. The ancient alien's skin was pale blue, almost translucent with age. When Zalnar spoke, everyone listened. "We gather today for an unprecedented event," Zalnar announced, voice amplified throughout the hall. "For the first time in 12,000 years, the Council will change a species classification without the standard century of deliberation." Murmurs spread through the crowd. Such a thing had never happened before. 3 months ago, our civilization faced its greatest threat since the founding of the Council. The entities known as the Voidborn nearly destroyed everything we have built. Our weapons failed. Our strategies failed. Our prediction systems failed. Zalnar paused, looking directly at the human delegation. But we did not fall. Thanks to the assistance of the humans from Earth, the Voidborn were driven back beyond the galactic rim. The human strategy of unpredictable energy patterns confused the entities long enough for Dr. Ha-Nul Song to develop her quantum disruption field, which created a permanent barrier at the rim. Do-hyun glanced at Ha-Nul, who stood tall despite all the attention. Her quantum disruption field had been a brilliant creation, designed and built in just 2 months. It now protected the entire galaxy from further Voidborn incursions. "This emergency session of the Council has voted unanimously," Zalnar continued. "Captain Do-hyun Kim and Ambassador Taiwan Choi, please step forward." Do-hyun and Taiwan walked to the center of the hall. They stopped before the council elders and bowed respectfully. Zalnar activated a holographic display that showed the official classification document. With a gesture, the elder changed the text. "By the power of the Galactic Council, humans are hereby reclassified as a Class 1 allied species with full voting rights and unrestricted access to council space and technology." The hall erupted in applause. Many species that had previously looked down on humans were now the loudest in their approval. Do-hyun maintained his composure, but inside he felt a surge of pride and satisfaction. "We recognized too late that what we perceived as inefficiency was in fact adaptability," Zalnar admitted. "Where we saw emotional instability, we should have seen passionate creativity." The Council has existed for many millennia, but perhaps our very stability has made us resistant to new ideas. Taewon stepped forward. The human delegation accepts this reclassification with gratitude and hope for a new era of cooperation. There is more, Zalnar said. The Council has created a new position, Innovation Director. We ask that Dr. Hanul Song consider accepting this role to help guide our research in new directions. Hanul looked surprised but quickly recovered. I would be honored, she said. As the formal ceremony continued, Do-hyun whispered to Taewon, things have certainly changed quickly. That's what happens when you save everyone, Taewon replied with a small smile. After the ceremony, the hall transformed for a celebration. Species that had never spoken to humans before now crowded around them, asking questions and offering congratulations. General Su Min Kang approached Do-hyun as he spoke with a group of young council cadets. The council scientists are particularly interested in Hanul's phase-shifting technology, she said with a smile. Apparently, they've been trying to develop something similar for 3 centuries. Do-hyun nodded, watching as council representatives from across the galaxy eagerly sought out human delegates for consultation. They thought our greatest weakness was being human, he said. They never considered it might be our greatest strength. It's a common mistake, Kang agreed. People often fear what they don't understand. Speaking of which, Do-hyun said, lowering his voice, what about the data crystal? The one that showed some council members were afraid of human adaptability. Kang shrugged. Ancient history now. No need to bring it up. So we forgive and forget? We forgive, Kang corrected. But we don't forget. The best lessons are learned from mistakes. Across the room, Do-hyun saw Elder Vraxtool approaching. The alien still moved with pride, but there was a new respect in its manner as it stopped before them. Captain Kim, General Kang, Vraxtool said. I wish to speak frankly. Please do, Do-hyun replied. I was one of the strongest voices for classifying humans as inferior, the elder admitted. I was wrong. My judgment was clouded by fear of the unknown. Your species is unlike any we have encountered in our long history. Different doesn't mean inferior, Kang pointed out. A lesson I have learned, Vraxtool agreed. The Council has existed for thousands of years by following the same patterns, the same rules. We value stability above all else. But the universe is not stable. It changes. The Voidborn proved that our unchanging ways left us vulnerable. What will you do now? Do-hyun asked. Learn from humans, Vraxtool said simply. Your adaptability, your creativity, your willingness to try new approaches. These are traits the Council needs. We have created a new initiative to encourage innovation across all member species. That's good to hear, Do-hyun said. Humans don't want to lead the Council, we just want to be treated as equals. And so you shall be, Vraxtool promised. In fact, there is already talk of a human joining the Council of Elders within the next decade. Your Ambassador Choi would be an excellent candidate. As Vraxtool moved away to speak with other guests, Ji-woo joined Do-hyun. I can hardly believe it, she said. 3 months ago we were being kicked out of council space as inferiors. Now they want us to teach them how to think differently. Life is full of surprises, Do-hyun replied with a smile. What happens next for us? Ji-woo asked. For the Dauntless? I received new orders this morning. The Dauntless is being assigned as an exploration vessel. We'll be heading beyond the galactic rim past the quantum barrier. The Council wants to know if there are other entities like the Voidborn out there. That sounds dangerous, Ji-woo said. It is, Do-hyun agreed. That's why they're sending humans. We're good at handling the unexpected. As the celebration continued, around them, Do-hyun looked out the large windows at the stars. Somewhere out there, beyond the galaxy's edge, new challenges waited. But whatever they found, humans would face it as they always had, with adaptability, creativity, and the courage to try new approaches when the old ones failed. On Earth, children in schools would soon learn about the inferior classification incident As the turning point in human galactic history, the moment when humanity proved that adaptability, emotional intelligence, and thinking beyond established parameters weren't weaknesses but the very qualities that made humans uniquely valuable to the galaxy. What the Council had feared most about humanity had become the very thing that saved them all.